All right. Let's see if should be live. Do a little live stream during the day. Get my window situated here. Give me a second. All right. That's why we're waiting for people to roll in and see where everybody's at. See if we can get the opportunity to do some additional live streams for the other side of the world. What's up, Mike? I don't have any of that cool green screen stuff for nobody, but maybe Santa will bring some green screen or anything and do some cool stuff like the dock. But trying to do a little different setup. How's the audio? I don't know if y'all can hear me yet. All right. Trying to do this little different setup, and I had a couple issues this morning, but hopefully got them worked out. With all the new little settings and everything, I switched systems. So what I was looking at, I got picked up a little LED strip, and it's actually kind of simple. I've never done a LED strip in Tasmodo, and we'll see how that all works out. And it's kind of the same little Tuya module we've done. Let me see if I can get my laptop changed up a little bit here. So this is the, if I can find it here, and I'll change screens here. 1 second here. It was the it's like AI Clive or something. Yeah, it was this one here. So, which I'll leave a link. There's a link in the description probably, but if it's not showing, this should be the link here as well. Just so everybody has, you want to take a look at it. If I can find where my chat window went. But it's just a simple RGB light strip, and of course it works with the Tuya app. And what's neat about it is it's just a little USB. There's actually no power supply that comes with it. But let me switch back to there. See if we got sound again. We got sound again. Check, check. Alright. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what, when I flip scenes, it definitely flipped out. But we'll fix it. We won't do that again. How about that? I'm trying to check another window. So, I guess that'll catch back up. So, this one was, there's no, I guess going back, there was no glue on this or anything. So you just pop the little cover off. It's a really simple little device, and let me turn it around here. Check my autofocus. It's pretty simple design, and yeah, no glue, exactly. Looks like a little simple design here. Of course, it runs off USB, so it's 5 volts. So it looks like just a little 5-volt converter to 3.3 volts. And then resistors and the transistors for each, as the gates, I'm assuming, for RGB. So it's really simple design. I popped it out of here. There's nothing on the back at all. So everything's just handled through PWM inside the ESP8266 little Tuya module here, which we've all seen, those TYWE3S. I think that's what it is, 3S. So, and let's see. Try to make sure I didn't lose my chat. There we go. And so I was going to take and flash it. I've never done a power strip on Tasmodo before. The Home Assistant wiki and Tasmodo is in kind of a little state of flux, because one particular person's changing a lot of stuff in it. And I'm gonna get my little jumper wires to flash, and we'll back this thing up. And I want to back up the firmware first for it. See if I can pull in a screen here without changing scenes and losing the sound again, right? We'll just do it on the fly. Change this. There we go. So I guess while we're doing that, I see we got about 30 people. Where's everybody at today? What? United States, other countries, what? So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull up the wiki on Tasmodo. I'll pull the screen in here. We'll do an add, and everyone knows scene changes internationally. I don't want sound. I don't know why the sound died like that. That's kind of weird, but and we'll do browser. Up. That's not what I want. I want to do a window. Chrome. Where's my other Chrome? Well, I had an issue with the GPU. I think when I restarted it here, it dropped off my sound. So this is some of the issues I was talking about having. So I guess we'll just do the, hold on 1 second. Let me restart this right quick. All right, so hopefully this will work out for us and we'll be able to see what's going on here. Get things resized here. Sorry about the delay here. So I was looking in the, what I'm looking for is in the other devices section. Make sure we got sound here before I continue on, right? Yeah, we got sound. In the other devices section, I always kind of use one I've done before, the power strip, because it has this one little picture I like to use just to, which one's TX, which one's RX, GPIO 0, ground, and 3 volts. So we'll flip this back. So what I do is I have several little jumpers that I'll tin. See if I can not bump the camera too much this time. Wow, it's gonna be way too much light. Do about like this. There we go. We'll move this over here. Get it situated. We'll put that back when we talk in a minute. So what I usually take is I have several like little jumpers and I'll just have them tinned a little bit. And what we'll do is we'll tin the section. I guess we need to unplug it first, right? And I like to put some flux on here. So we'll do RX TX up here. And then we got one down here. Yeah, it's only 5 volts, right? We just make the smoke come out a little bit, huh? Supposed to solder on it while it's on, man. That's the best way. So for ground, let's see, we'll do got the green one. And we got a yellow. And let's see what else we got. Got an orange one. And a purple, so we'll do RX TX. We'll do power and ground. And then the question is, do we need GPIO 0 is the question. We may not, I haven't pinned it out to see if we have it for, yeah, I got a whole, come on, you always got to have plenty of wires, right? There's plenty of wires, right? You just throw them all in a coffee can, Jay. But then when you put them all in there, you can't find what you want because then they're all mixed together. Because you just, after you're done with a project, you're throwing it in. So, try and strip this wire here right quick. All right. Now we don't need 2 yellows. I'll get myself mixed up. I have done that before with getting myself mixed up with the same color. We'll have here's a brown. We'll use a brown. Brown for GPIO 0 or something, right? Alright, where's... That's that plug with like, it had like the two jacks or something on it, I remember. Is that what the one you're talking about? Check it, make sure I got all these tinned already. Yeah, pretty much. So I'll probably leave it inside here, be easier. And then I'll do the helping hands in a little bit here. Let's see if we can get this situated. And I'll adjust the focus there a little bit. You didn't have to destroy the case or nothing to put that thing together, huh? Oh, I hear. What? I'm just see why I'm missing my light. One second here. I knew something was funny. There we go. The overhead light, and that'll fix this right up. Probably too much light now. So for power, let me find my solder. Let's see if we can do this and stay on camera, right? Hyperion Ambilight project. No, what is that? I haven't seen that one. Like, is that something kind of like what the doc was doing, like with the X lights and everything? And so what I like to do is just on these different points, if you can kind of see, I just like to add a little bit of solder to each of them, and that's the 3.3 volts. And the RX and TX, it looks like they have, you probably could stick something in there, like another little jumper or something, like a breadboard jumper. Kind of like I was looking on the Shelly 2 that I got in the other day. That let's try to touch the case and melt it, right? That'd be my luck. Okay. And then, just for the sake of things, I want it to work the first time, we'll do ground and GPIO 0. The button may be on GPIO 0, but you just never know. And GPIO 0 is going to be, because there's ground at the bottom, then GPIO 15, then 2, then 0. So we'll skip 2, 1, 2, and then we'll go right there. 2. So it's going to be the fourth one up. Were you able to find a pinout on that particular chip that you were doing, or do you try to just do it yourself, or trying to pin it out with a meter? And I got 1 to 10. case the video source mimics the board of the frame on LED. Oh, okay. I think I've seen something like that where they had a video where they were showing one where it like they put the LED strip behind the TV. All right, so we'll use brown for GPIO 0, and once I find it easy to solder to these, once I go around and add, and I'll show on the camera here. Let's see if you can see. I'll change the focus here when we get closer. It's too close. So I'll go through and just add solder to there's RX and TX, and then there's the ground, and then there's ground. That's our GPIO 0 and ground, which we will put together. And then this one pin right over here, the last one, is going to be the 3.3 volts. So I just add a little bit of solder to each one, and then I'll make sure and tin my wires like this. And then when you're soldering, to put them together, you don't use any solder at all because you've got solder in both places. Just heat them up and they pull right together. And it makes it really simple. And even with my kind of shaky hands at times, I'm able to do it without any issue. Let me fix the focus back. I would use autofocus, but the autofocus really kind of flips out at times. So we'll use the brown for ground. How about that? See if we can get this bent in position. And we'll just put it in here without touching the case. Should probably use the helping hands, but I'd rather not go through that setup again. Yeah. To watch you talked about this, so yeah, and that's not anything. I forgot where I learned that on one of the other streams. All right, let's give that a shot. We'll plug in the mic straight to the... I can see it moving now with the audio. I'll keep an eye on it. I plug in the mic. Like I say, sorry about this, guys. This new setup. I haven't tried it. I should have just let it ran on a test thing and just see how it would run by itself. So I had the mic plugged into another USB port on a kind of on the hub, but this one ain't wanting to 10 right. This one orange wire. 5x5. What's the 5x5? 5 out of 5 or something? Alright. 5 by 5. Alright, let's see if we can do this again without touching the case. I don't want to burn the case and have to make another case, right? This one wire looks a little worse for wear, but we'll see if we can get it attached. Dang it. The solder is not wanting to stick to it. Let me strip it, and I've used this jumper so many times for soldering so many of these, and it gets just burnt looking, and then the solder don't want to stick to it, and so many different jumpers, so we'll just make a new one. Let's see if we can do this. If I'd have been a good, I would have had all this prepared beforehand, right, with the right jumpers, but shows in real time the trials and tribulations of soldering these things. Like, I mean, we have to figure out the template and everything else too, which depends if we have time to do that. I may do another live stream of that later because might be a little pressed for time, but we'll see. I've got a IP camera installed. I gotta go help out with a friend of mine. So in a little bit. What's the fun in being prepared, right? Never prepared. Just do stuff on the whim is what I say. That's how this whole thing goes. This case is really messing me up. Do I have enough solder on there now? That might be the deal. The solder pulled off. We still got audio? Yep. Good deal. Alright, let's try this again. I am shaky today. Cool. Bad. India. And if I butcher anybody's names, don't feel bad. I sometimes butcher my own name. So, yeah, I think that's the problem. Is I drank about 3 cups of coffee this morning, and I'm not much of a breakfast person, so I haven't eaten any breakfast, and so maybe it's a blood sugar mixed with caffeine combination, right? Usually I use the little overhead magnifying glass, and I'll have my hand propped up on that, but I can't have it that close, and because I have my camera actually mounted on my little magnifying glass arm. Eventually, I'll probably get me a little tripod for doing these streams and have them separate. But if I put my hand on it, it's gonna start shaking the mount to the camera, and that's look like you're on a roller coaster ride or riding out in a mountain bike in the trails or something. Not particularly fun. I try not to bump the magnifying glass here. Alright, so we got ground. We skipped to GPIO 0, got RX, TX, and then we'll go with 3 volt 3. Now, one thing I'm concerned about is if I power up, I don't know how that's gonna work, because I can't disconnect. I don't know if we can disconnect the power strip. It may be soldered in. It might be soldered in here. I'm worried that it might try to power the LEDs backwards. We'll see if that becomes a. It may not. And that happen. It may not boot up. And I have had something like that before, like a lot of with those dimmers. Can't you solder on those circle? Yeah, I could, but I'm using the tried and true. I probably could just stick jumpers in them. Like, I don't know if y'all have seen. I was messing around with the Shelly 2 I got in the other day, and I was looking at the small holes right here for the header, and those little breadboard pins fit perfect in them. So I don't even think I was going to solder to the Shelly 2 on there to play around with this guy, and just stick the headers in there and probably use like a rubber band to hold them together while I flash. And I'm all about no soldering. Yeah, because I've done these same TYW3S Wi-Fi modules, and I've soldered to them many times before. The elusive Shelly, huh? Yeah, I wanted to play with one and see how it was, what it was all about. I have some of the Shelly ones. I'll make sure I got just. I don't know. Gonna jump to the other pin they have there. All right, so let's see if we can get this guy connected up and see if it goes backwards, and it won't boot up. Yeah, I did think about that. Is actually use the power from there. That would be a good idea. But I'm kind of, you point out the obvious, right? But I guess I'm used to doing the all the other stuff with mains power, and I usually don't like to have the RX TX and mains power connected together at the same time, and do mains power and do RX TX, and I'll show you why. Because stuff like this happens. I don't know if you can hard to see, but down in here, it just popped and it's burnt and everything. So, yep, that magic smoke. It's also a new reboot on your computer as well. It didn't pop the USB port, but it sure rebooted my computer. It's not a way I suggest to reboot your computer, by the way. Yeah, right. And then I know this is all DC, but I just didn't think about it. And like I said, pointing out the obvious. So let's see. Here's the power. If we have to go that route, we'll go that route. I'm kind of curious to see if it'll work, right? So here's VCC. And for ground, my tried and true I like to use, I'll do like a little header. For that would be like ground and then GPIO 0. So we'll do green. Let's see if we can not pull anything off. So some of these I did not solder the best. I just wanted them temporarily on there without putting globs of solder. Alright, so those are together, and then we'll do a blue wire off of those. Get my big meat cleavers out the way. And put this guy to ground. So what I did is, I know you can't see, you can't really totally see. Back up here a little bit. Is the green GPIO 0, and then the brown goes to ground, and then I just have those jump together, and then a blue wire on those that goes to from the USB flasher over to there, so that way GPIO 0 is held low. Let's see, make sure I can get this in focus a little bit better. The old X10 stuff. Wasn't the old X10 stuff like all that was like 433 megahertz or something like that? Yellow is going to be TX, so that goes to RX on here. And orange, and that one's about to pop off. I can feel it. Make sure we're not touching. Alright, let's see what happens. Let's see if we can get something rolling with it, right? Oh, no LEDs popped up. Alright, let me see if I can get my other display up without losing audio again, right? Yes. Alright. So, let's see. Oh, 319. It's actually playing, was it 319 or 313? Maybe you're right, 319. I was playing around with that RTL 433 with an SDR the other day. Let me see. Display, capture. And we'll drag this into here. Let me get this out the way here. So you guys can see this here. All right. So I did it once. I just want to see. It looks like we're on. And anytime you'd use, I like to use the ESP tool, and I like to do just the flash ID of it, and see if we get the connection. And sure enough, we do. So, but anytime you do that, you need to reset it. So what I want to do is I want to back the firmware up first. If it was this was just like a switch or something like that, I probably wouldn't do the backup of the firmware. And you can find these commands straight out of the Tasmodo wiki. ESP tool. And if you don't have ESP tool installed, you just go to ESP tool. And if you go to here, they'll tell you, you need to have Python installed, etc. And you just type, once you install Python on the command line, just do pip install ESP tool or pip3. And like they tell you here, with some, or you can do the manual, but I didn't do the manual, it said pip install. and installed it. So we are using typically these modules are a 1 meg chip, which is 1 meg chip. So we'll scroll down here and you can see they have the command already for you, to back up the image for the device. And that's just so if I ever need to go back to it for some reason. Like I said, if it was just a regular switch, I wouldn't do it. I don't need it's. I know the switches are gonna work. So I'm COM3, and we'll call it LED strip bin. Last time we died on backing this thing up in the middle. And see if you get this, because I didn't reset. You need to reset the device. Pull it out. Yeah, that's OBS. I am not the best at OBS. Still learning. So we'll do the backing it up here. While we're backing things up, we'll chit chat. So I don't know what to look at the template for the RGB in Tasmodo. The only RGB device I have is a little light bulb I did probably back in July or so, and I'm using that AI light firmware on it right now. Yeah, well, and how do you say your name? The old Kermati. I'm not even trying to butcher it. We'll call you Old C, right? Make it easy. Yeah, you can send me an email or you can send me on Discord. You can, if you ever want to send me anything or whatever, just Old C, there you go. You can always just send me an email, which is just a channel name at Gmail, or a lot of y'all know where you can find me on Discord, or you can send me messages. However, I'm sure there's different ways to find me that everybody uses. Probably Discord is probably one of the easiest, but I guess again you can always send me an email. All right, so we're 89%, 92, and then we'll flash this thing with Tasmodo here. And maybe I won't reveal any passwords and stuff, right? All right, so we got the backup. We'll do a reset. Just simply pulling the USB and popping it back in. And we will pull up the Flash ESP8266, which makes it real simple. We could use ESP tool, but why type a bunch of stuff in the command line when we have it already easy to do tool? So we got COM3 and we'll flash it. I'll drag the window over here so you can see. And we're golden. We got Write and Flash. Where the name DigiBlur came from, that's a long story. Maybe the statute of limitations are in effect, right? No, just kidding. No, it came back from, that was actually back, and I'll probably be showing my age here, back probably on the, I think that was back in the 80s when the Commodore 64 with using dial-up terminals. And I did a lot of scripting, and we would dial into with permission, with the different scripting in the campus computers. And I wasn't in college or anything at that time at all. And my school I was in then didn't have any like computers like that or anything. So, but some of the system administrators, because I would write down all the commands and everything and jump around, and I had a lot of shortcuts, and I would just jump through stuff really fast, and because I had all the shortcuts with all the commands and scripts, and so they always said it was like a digital blur when I would get in and do things, and so it just kind of went short to DigiBlur because it was a digital blur. Yeah, it really wasn't even a BBS. It was really just a terminal. But yeah, I was involved in a lot of the BBSs and stuff. So, let's see. Let's see if we can turn this back on. That way I'll give y'all an ugly mug to look at, right? Move to top. So we got them flashed up, and let's see if we can fire up Termite. So what's the software you do that makes the digital blur? I don't remember if I have Termite on here. Yeah, we do, Termite. And we're going to do a reset on this thing. I always like to do a reset after the flash, because you can get in one time, but then it's like when you go ahead and put your let's see if we're good. It should be flashed up. Let's see. COM3. I haven't used this yet, so Are we? Oh, my bad. We're holding GPIO 0 down, so we're in boot mode. Yeah, mine was actually, the first modem was a 300 baud, and it had turbo 450, but it seemed nobody had 450. I don't know if that wasn't a standard then or not. Let's see, green needs to come down. Guess it would help to have terminal mode. We didn't pull GPIO 0, right? Let's see. Hey, there we go. Okay. Yeah, we're a bunch of old timers, right? I'm going to pull this off the screen because I don't know if it's going to show my SSID and password. Alright, I'm putting in my password stuff right quick. Alright, we got everything. Yep, we're good. Okay. And we'll clear. Alright, and we've got Tasmodo up, and all I did was just I put in some backlog commands of the SSID and the password and your kind of your typical stuff, and we'll go to the probably the best thing we'll do. We got it connected now. We know I'm on the Wi-Fi. I've got my MQTT ID and password, so let's actually pull off the pins and we'll hook it back up USB. Let's bring and we'll put the cover back on, right? Not letting the smoke out of this thing. So we'll see here. So pretty simple. I was kind of expecting it to, it must have a diode or something, or I guess it won't backfeed through that power regulator, which is great. So I've had that issue with some of the dimmers where you would end up trying to power the whole thing All right. So I'm going to take a look, make sure I'm not jumping over anything. No, everything looks fine. I'm not grounding anything out to the case or nothing like that, which is good. And I won't yell out to the Google speaker to turn off my soldering iron, so no one if anybody has Google, we won't be doing that. 8088. Yeah, then I moved up. I think I got an 80. I didn't do an 8088. I did the 8286. I had an old 8286 with proprietary. I want to say it was a 10 megabyte hard, or no, it was 20 megabyte hard drives. I had one 20 megabyte hard drive, and then I moved up to a second one. And there is a button on this thing. We'll figure out what the button goes to. All right, so let's do. We'll plug this thing in. All right. So let's see if we can drag this camera down small. Drag them over here, and we'll put the display capture, bring it forward. All right. Let me pop in here and grab my IP off of the UniFi adapter. I remember seeing it on the Termite, but I don't think it's still up there. Yeah, it is. No, it's not. Clients. We are 196. Of course. All right. Let's get the windows situated here. Move up. All right. That LED is this LED. It's a really simple LED, and I ran it for a few days. It's like an AI Clive or something. I'm sure it's kind of a rebranded type deal. But it's really simple. It runs off at 5 volts, and so it's probably some 5 volt LEDs. And I actually ran it in my bedroom behind the bed for several hours and hours. I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to heat up or whatever. So let's see if we can figure out what pins are what. Okay, so we got. Apparently, you can see one is here. So we'll figure out what is what here. I've never done an RGB on, so we'll start off with generic. I like to start off with generic on these things. And that way you can see all the pins. The controller is just, I closed it up already, but the controller is just that little, it's all comes together. It's comes together. I haven't tried, it looks like this is glued together. Right here, I don't think you can unplug it. It looks like it's crimped at the bottom as well. I did see on the Amazon page you can cut these at the different. It looks like you can cut in between each one if you wanted to. But the controller is really simple. You just plug it into USB, and then there's that Tuya module in there, and then there's the button. And there's really no electronics to it that much. There's just those few transistors to switch over the PWM. It's going to be using PWM across the 3 RGB channels. So it's not WS2812. All the colors are going to go to the same. It's not going to be RGBW or something like a RGBWW, which I do have an RGBWW strip here that I do plan on doing some stuff with. I'll show that towards the end. Oh, got me. Well, 10 gigabyte. You got 10 gigabyte RAID 5. So we got this set in generic. Let's see if we can. We knew there was one. This was the green one. So let's set that to relay 2 for RGB to make it easy. Let's try the button as we'll do switch 1. Maybe they did GPIO 0 as switch 1. We'll give it a shot. And we'll try relay 1. We'll do relay 3, relay 4, and relay 5. We'll give that a shot first, and let's see. All right. So nothing on there. We know this is the green. Oh, there's blue. So we'll leave that as blue. Nothing there. Nothing there. Okay, let's see if the button does anything. Nope. Okay, so we'll have to find out the button. So relay 1 is wrong. We'll set that to 8, because we know that's wrong. 4. I'm just trying to hold my places here. Relay 7, and then relay 6. So trying to find, let's try this one. Relay, I'm trying to find the red. And we'll try, so it's not TX, we'll try this one for switch 1. All right. And, oh, no red. No button yet. I'm just trying these others just to see. No, I'm not changing the Tasmodo yet to RGB or anything like that. I know they have there's those magic controllers and everything. I'm not doing those. I probably will end up doing that, but of course my dog's gonna be barking. Hold on. Wife and kids are getting home, so trying to still find relay the red one. Relay 1. If I double try one, y'all let me know. Yeah, it's 4 adoptions that make it. There we go. So we got red. There's green, and there's blue. And one, 2, and 3. Now we gotta find the button. 1, 2, 3. We didn't test the button. Typically, if you have one relay, it'll just go to the first relay, but we'll find out. It might be because I'm not holding down. Nope. So we still got everything here. and configure module. All right. Let's try D1. Process of elimination. All right. Let's go ahead and assign this to switch 2, this one to switch 3. We'll see which one we get. We're bound to get it eventually. Nothing yet. Probably should have just pinned it out, right? Have I missed any? Kind of going quick here. It might be with the switch mode. I probably should flip to the console when I do this. Yeah, I'm not sure if it is RX and TX. Probably should have pulled the board out, but I was hoping I could just do process elimination and get this figured out. Because it shows... Let's do this here. Switch 1, switch 2, switch 3, switch 4, switch 5, and switch 6. And switch 7 and switch 8. And we'll know for sure then. There's no lights on the button. It's just a straight button. All right, we got something here. Which one's doing that? Hard to tell. 5. Yeah, I see it says on, but switch 3 is on as well. I wonder if it was D0. Let's see if we can compare. How about that? We're going to do it the right way. I think it's status 8. Yeah. So we got off, off, on, off, off, on. And then let's see if we can compare status 8. So switch 6. Whoever said 6, that's the winner. Switch 6. So which one is switch 6? Switch 6. So it actually is GPIO 0. Interesting. Maybe I did have it messed up because relay 1 wasn't assigned. That's what I get for going too quick. So switch 5, switch 8, switch 4, switch 3, switch 2, switch 0. So we got 1, 2, 3, and then switch 1. So let's give that a shot. Yep. So then we want to do switch mode 1. Yeah, so we can just do an on and off. Is it switch mode 2? Trying to remember. I might be off on my switch modes. Switch mode 1, 3 then. There we go. Just keep trying until we figure out the right one, right? So I wanted to see in here, keep this up. So we've got GPIO 4. what I'm looking at here is the templates. See if I can get this situated right. We'll put this a little bit smaller. Yeah, what I'm looking for is in here. Make sure we still got audio. We still got audio. Yep. So apparently that fixed that audio issue. Is if you go into, this is Platform IO, which is, if you're probably the best way to build and change Tasmodo, because it's designed for it. PWM2. Looking for another controller. See if there's one we can use. The H801. Looks like that one's got a white, and I don't have a white. PWM, red, blue, and green. What were we? We're 4, 12, and 14. It's 4. That's definitely not gonna work. Try to see if there's a template we can use. No, that's not gonna work either with the Magic Home. We may have to do our own. 4. Yep. PWM 5. But for the time being, what we can do is we can change these to, I think it does a weird like warm and something. We can change these to PWM1 and PWM2 and PWM3. We may have to make our own template. I may not just be able to use a generic as well, so. Yeah, it's just gonna do. I'm gonna need to do a different template. That's just doing all together. So, but we've already gone on for what, hour and 20 already? Yeah, exactly. But I don't need anything. You know, this is like, say this is, I could have done a small strip with a D1 Mini or a Node MCU, but this was kind of something simple. It was already in the case. It had a button, real simple. I could stick this behind the little thing on our bed, and that way it still gives me a button. I was actually thinking of doing, because it looks like there's room in here, I could do some other small, put 2 other buttons in here for different scenes and tie them to other GPIO pins, and I could, you know, use some rules or something and kick off something. And it was something real simple. So, of course, there's always different solutions for everything. Before I go, one other little LED strip I did pick up is this one. Now let me plug it in here. This is what I want to mess with, and I'll actually do. This is another little LED strip, and the one thing is it's a Zigbee box. Let me pull this up here a little bit better. Cam overhead. It's a little Zigbee box, but one thing you'll notice, it's actually got, it's RGB plus it's got cool white and warm white. And let me turn this out, not blow out the camera here. And it does tie in straight to Home Assistant, but of course it's Zigbee, and I'm not too much of a Zigbee person, but it's got it's gonna blow. I'm just blowing out the camera here, but let me do this. Advanced settings. Change the exposure down here a little bit. But so I don't know if you can see the colors in the light. It's you can turn brown. Look at that smoker's house look, or warm look, or you can really go with the white look. But it's kind of cool because it has RGB WW, and there's you can actually see there's one set. This is the cool white and the warm white together, and then if you flip over to doing colors, it turns. You can actually see them together. It turns those two LEDs off, and then it just does probably like I'm guessing a 50-50, like those ones we see, and it's pretty bright for a little LED strip. But again, I'm not too much of a Zigbee person. I tried to put this across the house, but then of course Zigbee wouldn't go that far. So probably what I'll end up doing is just 86 this controller, and I'll end up doing a little project with probably an ESP32. I really like the ESP32s for doing LED strips with this PWM. Yeah, that's OBS, and I'm not as smooth with it as the dock is with all the scenes set up. I just installed OBS on this computer last night and was wanting to mess with it. So, but yeah, this one's probably a little pricey on the because it comes with the Zigbee strip. Yeah, this one it was made by Quartra or something like that. Let's see if we can pull it up here on OBS. Yeah, this one was made by Quartra Wireless Zigbee Smart Strip, and you can see it's a, they have it lit up in like a rainbow type effect, but you can see it's RGB. But it is a $50 light strip though, and it's 80 inches. And you guys with doing the standard metric thing can convert that for me. But I thought that was a pretty cool light strip. I like the light strip itself, but just not too much of a Zigbee person myself. I'm kind of like the ESP 8266s and the 32s. So. Yeah, I want to get the that OBS streamer set up like the doc was doing, but I haven't done that yet. So, yeah, I think that's in the competition with the Hue lights, the Hue light strip. Because if you go in here and do like Philips Hue light strip, I think it's where they're competing. Because you're gonna do for Hue light strip, you're going to be in the $70 range. So I think what they were trying to do was do a true RGB WW and actually have it where people that use Hue with Alexa, or sorry if I set off your thing, or Echo or whatnot, they use those strips. So it's like showing you that, hey, $30, well, yeah, $20 cheaper, and yet you get something better. So, yeah, I do want to do one on the ESP32 because that's kind of my plan with this. Is I've got the MOSFETs and everything, and I'll build it probably as just be a little one-off on a proto board, and because the light strip is really I like the light strip. It's very bright, and it's just I'm not a Zigbee person too much, but we'll do one of those. Also, I do have the one for the draw. I should be coming in today. The power monitoring for a electric dryer. I know I had a lot of people asking about the electric dryer and how to do the power monitoring on that when I did the S31s. So I'll do one of those fairly soon on that. Just got to find me someone with electric dryer. So, are you gonna use colored LEDs for the? Well, I will probably. I'm not. We're not too much into the color stuff, but I did like the look of the warm white and the cool white because I wanted them under a cabinet. And it will be cool to actually do the RGB in different times. You know, those rare times we want to do something colored. So, but I know someone was saying the elusive Shelly. Here you go. There's another one for you. So, the 8 I2C. What is the I2C ammeter chip? Let me set this back to regular exposure. Oh, the I squared C? The I squared, I've done a lot of different videos in I squared C. Oh, the I squared C amp meter. No, this one's actually it's the PZM something. I can't remember the number on it, but it's actually uses I try to do something simple because it did a serial input to the just using a Sonoff Basic, and you use the RX and TX lines, and do a little simple project where you can just monitor. I wanted something simple without a bunch of different boards and jumper wires and something for to show people how to do their electric dryers. There's always more than one way to skin a cat, of course. So, well, it's been an hour and a half for me, or almost, and maybe a little less. I'll probably do another little stream maybe sometime this weekend. I can figure out the rest of this LED controller, and because I do want to get this actually. All these different projects I don't do just to do them for the sake of things. I actually do them and want to put them in the house and use them. I've got that in the works. I'll finish this one. We'll do probably figure out a template for it, and then we'll actually I wanted to do also to see about using that ESP Home YAML. If you have seen that before, ESP Homelib 32. That's got some great little code, and it has really good auto discovery in MQTT for Home Assistant. So I may end up doing that. I'm just not sure, but we'll see how we go with that, and we'll maybe not do Tasmodo. There's always different tools for the trade. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Feel free to contact me through email. I'll put my email address back there, or here it is again. You can find me on the Dr. Z's Discord channel. You can PM me there. Just keep in mind, I may not be able to respond right away, but feel free to drop me a message and I'll respond and when I can in between things with normal family life and work. So I appreciate it, guys, and y'all take care and take it easy.